First thing you do when you unpack your mini torch is select a torch tip to use. For general all-around use, I like a number 6. It'll say right here on the tip itself what the number is. Bigger stuff like annealing, a number 7. Gold, I usually use a number 4. Those really are the only tips I use. Anything smaller would be for doing platinum, and you would need acetylene, but what we're setting up is oxygen LPG. So I suggest a number 6 tip, screw it on, finger tight. I normally point the nozzle away from the handle. Yep, just finger tight. Now we're ready to assemble our torch. We're going to set up our mini torch. Here we've got an oxygen bottle, an LPG bottle. Now when you get your gauges, it will say on the gauge somewhere oxygen. This one says right here on the adjuster it's oxygen, and it usually says down on the gauge itself oxygen. Now all of the fittings for the oxygen are right-hand thread, which means they tighten turning them to the right. All of the fittings for the gas are left-hand thread, which means they tighten going to the left. Now all of the left-hand fittings will have a little notch in the nut, so that signifies that it's a left-hand thread. When you get your gauges, this adjuster will be backed all the way off, and that's all the way counterclockwise. Don't tighten it up until you've actually put it on. So make sure that the threads inside your bottle are nice and clean. You can just blow it out, and you want to assemble these just using finger pressure. So don't put a spanner on this until you've tightened it all the way up by hand. Now when you get it hand tight, use a spanner. This is an all-purpose spanner that you can buy from your welding store. They're only like $5. They're worth having. What you don't want to do is you don't want to use anything with teeth on it like this, because it'll make the fittings really ugly. The fittings are always brass. You can use an adjustable spanner, but this little spanner makes your life nice and easy. Hand tight, use your spanner, and just snug is all you need. Just snug, don't kill it. Now when you go to put your gauge on your gas, remember that the threads are left-hand threads. Same thing, finger tight and just snug with the spanner. Now green is the oxygen. It's pretty much universal. Green is oxygen. Put that on, finger tight. Make sure the middle comes up against the nut. And once again, just snug. Yep. Same thing on the gas. So once you have your gauges on, your torch connected, make sure the torch is shut off. Turn your big handle on to open the bottle, but before you do that, put something around this so that it can't tip over. I just use a piece of cord. It just stops little accidents. So turn the bottle on. This right gauge will tell you what's in the bottle. The little gauge that's on the side that your mini torch is attached to will tell you how much is coming out for the torch. Now, you only need 150 MKP maximum, yeah, or Imperial 14 pounds is the most that you'll ever need. That's 20. So that, for using the mini torch, that's just as much as you need, and it's exactly the same with the LPG. Nothing over 20 pounds. That's it. Ready to go. So light your torch to check it. Just a quarter of a turn on the red knob, which is your gas. About 100 mil long flame. Oxygen, which is the green, just until the orange goes out. And that's a nice little neutral flame. If you go to turn this on and you just crack the oxygen and it blows the flame out, you've got too much pressure. Turn it down a little bit, which means back the regulator out a little. And then you would bleed the pressure just by turning this little valve on. You can watch the gauge, it'll go down a little bit. Light it again, check it. And that's it. Easy as. When you're finished soldering for the day, turn your bottle off to the right. Leave these gauges alone. Different people will tell you that you need to completely back everything off every time. It depends on who you want to believe. I've used my gauges for years and never done anything other than turn them off and on. I don't bleed my handle. I just turn the torch off and walk away. But be sure you turn the bottles off, both oxy and gas.